Virtuzone with myself, Tom Urquhart, alongside me. The chairman of Virtuzone, Mr. Neil Petch. Mr. Petch has, of course, battled the traffic, as has our next guest. But we are, and they've done that because it was vital that they come here and share their seeds of knowledge with us all on the airwaves, keeping you educated, informed and entertained. But we do have a directive coming from the authorities at the moment to stay off the roads if you can. Only travel or drive when it is ultimately necessary. In fact, just getting news from the news team that they've got further updates on the roads at 1:30 the hour. So this is a quick moving story at the moment, giving the problems of earlier on today on the road network. So we will address that one during the news in about 5 minutes' time. Next guest, though, will tell us how we can promote our business through the power of PR. Everyone needs to understand public relations. Deciding to leave an in-house role, she set up her own agency and has been working with prestigious brands, including the likes of the Fairmont Hotels, Terrasolis and Tomorrowland as well. Also collaborated with brands such as Adidas and Prime Gourmet. The list goes on and on. She, though, here is to tell us how to promote your business today, especially if you're just starting out and budget is a consideration. So welcome to the DubaiEye studio. Welcome to Starting Up with Virtuzone, the founder of Reborn Consultancy, Renata Messarra. Renata, lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great to have you on board. First, I've got to ask you about the name of the consultancy. This is one of those things that people toil over, what's the right name, what's going to set the tone, especially when you're moving out of a role in hospitality, setting up your own brand, if you like. Why Reborn?
Because, first of all, it was in the family. We have a lot of entrepreneurs in the family. I've chosen this industry because personally I am creative and I love imagination. I've worked 15 years in this industry, especially when I start working with Sunset Hospitality, one of the most renowned F&B groups in the region. I was responsible of hiring PR agencies, and this is when I was amazed of their approaches. So I've decided to venture on my own.
You have ventured on your own. Was it a difficult decision for you, given the huge success that you had garnered in the hospitality industry, the roles that you'd had, the companies that you worked with? What was it? What was that moment you said, you know what, I've just got to go it myself?
To be honest, I had this feeling since very long time. I have this drive of growing, of not staying in the same position all my life. And to be honest, I'm very grateful of the experience I had with them. But, everyone needs to grow nowadays. So I didn't have any fear of moving from my comfort zone and opening my own agency. And to be honest, I would never regret it.
Tom, I'm slightly biased because Renata is a brilliant ambassadress of everything that Virtuzone tries to stand for, which is setting out by yourself. But I do want to have a push. When you're starting a business, you have to prioritize where you spend. We were just talking about spending on staff earlier. Another thing is, so many companies now, we're spending money on Google, on AdWords to get leads. If you develop content for your company, the content is there with you for life. And it also doesn't just deliver leads, it helps you with your brand and with the trust that a customer has. So entrepreneurs out there listening, Renata's going to tell us why she particularly helps for the smaller companies, for the startups, where perhaps you're thinking you can't afford it. I think that's very important, but put it near the top of your list.
Well, let's kick off with that, and we will break in just a few moments' time for that latest update from the roads. But before we do that, let's just define a few things, if we can. Let's define what public relations is, Renata. And is public relations for, as Petchy was saying, a startup, a small SME, is that different from public relations for a huge multinational conglomerate?
Yes, right. So first we need to understand that marketing is when you speak about yourself. PR, when people speak about you. I always give this example to my clients is, let's say you decide to franchise your brand or relocate or expand to a different region. The landlord will go and do checkup on your brand on Google. And this is when they see that the media is speaking about the brand. So this is PR. It builds reputation, good image.
And is it the same? I mean, the PR for a small company, the same for the big company, the fundamentals?
So basically, when you want to do PR, there's so many factors to do PR. Is you want to reach to the media, to speak about you. Whether it's small story or big story, you need to have an extra push, an extra strategy, hiring an agency to talk about you. We need to know how to draft the release, how unique is the story, how interesting it is for the readers, because you end up paying a lot of money for paid media, for example.
Right, Renata, keep those thoughts because we've got questions coming in already. We will address those in a few moments' time as we just get to nail into the reason as to why public relations is so important for your business, regardless of the size of that business. Renata's staying with Neil and I, so keep your thoughts coming through. You can text them now on 4001. You can WhatsApp on 0487155500. Up next, though, let's get latest on the roads of Dubai and the UAE. Up with Virtuzone live on DubaiEye 103.8. Big thanks to the Area News team for the news from the roads there. That seems to be the only information people are after at present, and with good reason as well. A quick reminder, if you need to travel, only do it if it is essential and necessary. So what are we discussing here today? Public relations, no less. Why we are in the presence, in the company of, a public relations expert. It is a warm welcome back to the studio, the DubaiEye studio. The founder of the Reborn Consultancy, Renata Messarra, is with Neil and myself. Renata, you just beautifully defined what public relations is, and this confusion that people might have of what marketing is, what self-marketing is, what PR is, and you've nailed that. But is our understanding of public relations, or is public relations itself evolving? I remember when I first moved here, long time ago, 24 years ago, my first job was in PR, and I remember you constantly having to go through cuttings of the old print newspapers and look for where certain brands were mentioned, etc. How's PR evolving in the gig digital age?
So, like every industry, evolving is essential. PR, as you said before, a long time back, it was print. Nowadays, everything is digital. The advantage of it is you can target international audience. You are able to retrieve the link after a decade, for example. Also, everything became minimal, straight to the point, fast. You need quick info. Also, nowadays, media is looking for authentic stories.
In terms of that evolution as well, what's your advice? Okay, what's the Reborn Consultancy sort of house of advice when it comes to catching the imagination? What does a brand, what does a company need to do to capture the attention of the public, of customers? Or does it change depending on that brand and that company?
So there's few steps in order to have a successful brand nowadays. First of all, to have a strong DNA. It's key to have a visual identity, obviously to be present everywhere on social media, on Google Ads, on SEO, having people speaking about you, whether it's influencers, celebrities, ambassadors, or even collaborating with brands. And most important is consistency.
What about mistakes? Companies make mistakes. There are all those phrases out there. And a lot of companies, especially startups, you might make a mistake at the beginning. You might not fully understand your market as well. There's the old mantra that all press is good press, etc. Not sure if that sort of carries through at the moment. But what's the sort of PR take, or certainly the Reborn take on owning mistakes? Is that something, do you fess up or not?
So Mistakes, I would say there is only one mistake. Only one and only mistake is doubting. Doubting that your capabilities, doubting of your effort, doubting that you won't be able to make it at some points, that your campaigns are not successful. So doubting is the enemy of success.
Renata, what I'm listening to you and what I'm hearing is a very methodical, set-out process. You're building the foundations of a business, which is absolutely right. However, I know that a lot of entrepreneurs listening to this show, they're fighting with the fact that they can't open the doors of their office at the moment, that they don't know where the next, are they going to be able to pay the salaries of their employees because they lost some business. So what I'd like you to do is to tell the listeners why your services are not a luxury, but they're a necessity to a startup.
So, everyone today needs PR and marketing in all type of industry. So whether you have a huge budget or a small budget, you need to know how to share your story to the audience. So this is where we come from. We first meet with you, we understand your vision, your story. We try our best to see which service fits best for you and then help you till the last minute.
So you're kind of a little bit of an outsourced marketing and PR director. So a small company that can't afford to have both of these, they're sort of outsourcing that service to you.
So we have internal in-house team specialized. Now we have 5 different departments. We are a boutique agency at the moment with 30 members. I would say we've grew a lot since the startup, and we are only handling mainly really interesting brands, and we will continue doing that. However, if you have, let's say, a new business that you want to share your story, we are happy to accept to work with you.
I mean, I think my message to the listeners is if ever you've been listening to the Business Breakfast and you've heard Tom or Richard interviewing someone and you've thought, you know what, I could do that better than that person. And why are they on the show? And the answer probably is that they're using someone like Renata. So Renata, how do our listeners get to find out about your company? Where do they go and find you?
So simply online, the best platform to find everything. You can just search Reborn Consultancy and you will find us.
Question that's cropped up off the back of what Neil asked a little bit earlier on in terms of the now, using now as a case example. And obviously a lot of businesses will be reeling from the damage caused by the heavy rains. There is a lot of shut doors at present at the moment as well. But rather than just sort of get disappointed, should companies, especially SMEs, because it's interesting, wasn't it? We were speaking to Mariella a little earlier on, and she was bemoaning the fact that they'd had to close their doors, and that was a face-to-face business or a furless-to-furless business, etc. They needed to have people in front of them. Without that, and yet she was staying positive throughout the whole thing. Should companies be looking from a PR perspective, looking at these times as an opportunity for them? So,
we cannot stop the nature of deciding what to do with us. So what we did personally, once the government shared a PR campaign that please stay home, we have 3 days of heavy rain. So we listened to them. I told all my employees to work remotely, to not face any problem, to, not face any delay. So I think if we have in front of us any story happening, is better to listen to it and take it positively.
Listen, Tom, you asked, how has the digital age changed PR? One of the things that I would say is there's lots of opportunities, there's lots of things that make it easier for you to communicate. But on the other side, if public opinion goes against you, it can very quickly turn the tide. So if you sense an opportunity in a situation of adversity, such as the floods that we've had or COVID before, and you think, I'm going to do this marketing message to go and get a whole bunch of customers, be very careful. Don't look for shortcuts.
Great advice from you both. There's got a question that's come through from a Charlie who's been in touch today. Can you explain the difference between earned and paid media?
So both of them are good, obviously, but I want to give you an example. Let's imagine you're an athlete and running into a competition. Which one would be better? You paying for the gold medal or earning it? So this is the same thing with earn and paid media. Today, earn is more difficult to get it. However, with choosing the right agency, choosing the right strategy, how we pitch the news to the editors, gives very big importance in earning the media. However, we also advise that paid media is important as well. If you're willing to go really viral with the story, also paid media will work.
Finally, you're a business owner. You are somebody who has gone out on their own, started at hospitality, now started up your own business as well. It's a learning curve. Starting any business, will know. Neil and his entire team will tell you that as well. It's a curve that has so much opportunity. It will deliver and give you so much, but it comes with its challenges. What have you learned from the process, from setting up your business to building your brand in your company? What's the big learning that you take away that you can pass on to those listening out there at the moment that might be wanting to start up a company?
Never give up. Always have passion. Always follow your vision and enjoy what you're doing.
Renata, I thoroughly enjoyed our chat this afternoon. Can't thank you enough for coming on in and explaining a bit more about the culture behind the Reborn Consultancy and the industry as a whole. Quick reminder again, I know we asked earlier on, but if people want to get in touch?
Reborn Consultancy.
Lovely to have you with us, Renata Messarra, the founder of Reborn Consultancy, on all things PR. That one will, of course, be up on our socials very, very shortly. But in the meantime, we'll take a little breather. Coming back with the Company Clinic.
Weather check.
With Air Arabia. Fly for Leicester, Milan, Colombo, Istanbul and more.